Say hi, Reese. Yeah. Are you gonna pick your nose on YouTube? All right. This next feature that I'm gonna cover in depth is another doozy. This is alliances, gods, and belief systems. Yeah, you're so excited. Mwah. Let's go to the slides. Yes, that's right there. Two this time. Okay. So, here is an overview of beliefs and how they will go together and how these things are interrelated with gods and their pantheons, temples, religions, and belief systems. So, imagine, if you will, a collectible card game where the. Ow! Did you just bite me? Ah, after all I've given you. He literally bit the hand that feeds him. All right. Example. Imagine a card game, if you will, where every card is a tenet of belief. Sorry, tenet. Tenet. One N, just one. A tenet of belief. And these tenets represent different game mechanics. And you can collect them and you can mix and match them to create your characters and by extension your accounts and your pool of characters belief systems. So in part this is why your character is a family. Your account is a family because as your characters adventure and explore and expose secret cults and encounter new beliefs, you will unlock these belief cards. Let's just continue with the card metaphor. And when you encounter a doomsday cult, your character will get apocalypticism, the idea that there is an end of the world. Whether or not the death cult or the doomsday cult believes anything can be done about that, maybe it's also there's sacrifice and covenants, so they covenant with their gods or the demon or whoever they happen to be worshiping, whatever the basis of their belief system is. You encounter these beliefs and you have the chance or the opportunity to pick them up and integrate them into your account's belief systems. And you may have a collection of these, and as your characters pick them up, you can incorporate them, you can swap them out. Each will come with a series of passive and active bonuses that will apply account wide. So this is, in a sense, your prestige system. It's what you do to continue advancing your characters for that. Not it's a combination of horizontal and vertical progression. So you gain access to more beliefs as time goes on. I'm sorry, I'm doing the wrong. We control the horizontal, we control the vertical. Wait a minute. Did I get this rotated? Okay, so you gain access to more tenets, more beliefs as you play more, and you can leverage more of them as you get more characters, memorialize more characters, interact with more, do more quests. The more stuff you do, the more beliefs you can incorporate into your account, the more bonuses you can get. Reincarnation there. If reincarnation is a part of your family's belief system, then you will get certain passive bonuses for reincarnation. Maybe your character comes back with more of their past life. Maybe you get a discount at the temple to reincarnate them. A lot of this is going to take some really keen balancing. That's why I want to get this in as part of the foundation so we can test it together and find out the right combination to tune and tweak each of these tenets, because some of them are going to be doozies, right? Like the whole thing, it's going to be like, wow, that affects how easily, quickly, effectively my character can cross over from death or return, or it's like, do I need to sacrifice my firstborn? Holy crap. Your character's beliefs will be a foundation for how your characters interact with the world, and you can share them with your friends, and there's a further social component to it where you will have certain advantages when interacting with other faiths and other belief systems. And so it's a truly like a strange, amorphous, polymorphic type of dynamic system, because your character's beliefs and my character's beliefs, how do you leverage them? What do they mean to your character? Do you pursue them? Does it matter as much to this character as it does to that one? That's why I want people to have these whole character pools, because sometimes you may have a character who is an honest to goodness chosen one who's going to save the world, and sometimes you're going to be the instrument of chaos and destruction who brings about Ragnarok and the end of a particular world. You can be the hero, you can be the savior, you can be the destroyer, and it will vary from one adventure to the next, one season to the next, one quest to the next, and from one world to the next. I mentioned the transmigration of souls. There's also multiple worlds. And it's time to cue the next slide, because I mentioned there were two. So, alliances. This is going to be more abstract than your typical MMO. You have alliances based on character alignments. Hey, my little chaos gremlin. Did you bring me a coat hanger that you're using to bring about the end of the world? Yeah? No? All right. So, this hanger represents nothing. On the right here, you have the 5 alignments. You will notice that not all of these are opposed to one another, and they are not necessarily mutually exclusive. These are based on a combination of real belief system, like real world belief systems, taken to their abstract form. These exist across history and traditions, and I have tried to distill them and then synthesize them into like proper alignment concepts, and these will have cosmic effects. So you see in the corner, alignment is your alliance. There are no racial boundaries. There are no class boundaries within a degree of reason. So there will be a smite evil skill, ability, power, something. There will be a smite evil. There will not be a smite good. There will not be a smite chaos. There will not be a smite nature. There will not be a smite order, because all of that is ridiculous. I understand that some systems try to balance things, but the thing is that smite, there's nothing but smite evil. It's a thing. It's smite evil. You smite evil. You don't smite, nothing else smites good. It's not equal and opposite. That's not how it works. Just as there is no good corruption, like there's no, how do you corrupt something with good? You don't. Some of these words are incompatible with certain other alignments and concepts. So you have detect evil. Evil can't detect good. That's not how it works. They have to try and reason through things and catch out good when good's doing something that's not evil. If good is trying to pass as evil, then evil has to use its wits in order to suss out the good one, right? And maybe it's because they're shining, but it's not because evil has an inherent ability to sniff out good the way that good can sniff out evil. Good is like with the powers vested in me, I heal you. There's no evil healing. That's not something that evil does. It's something that good does. Just as good doesn't reincarnate. That's a nature thing. And then, as you get into cosmic order and corruption and demons and stuff, these things are going to have unique powers and abilities and effects and affiliations with their requisite things, and it's going to be asymmetrical, which is, I think, an important component in all of this, is a certain degree of asymmetrism. Symmetry? Asymmetry. Sorry. wrong isming there. So the alliances will have different representations. You don't side with the forces of evil so you can have your version of gods. No, you side with the forces of evil because you want to be metal and have demons on your side and stuff. It's not, there's not going to be like a sanitized version of this. It's going to be you align yourself with evil because you want to be down with demons, and you want to be corrupting souls, and that's the whole point. Otherwise, why do you have an alliance? They're not supposed to be equal and opposite, which is why there are 5. Not 3 generic ones, not 2 mirror versions. There's 5. And some of them overlap, and some of them are opposed, and there is not an inherent balance. But sometimes 2 will join forces against a third one. They'll set aside their differences in order to team up again. Sometimes good and order are gonna, hang up their respective cudgels in order to take evil to task. Sometimes nature will throw in with order in order to fight back chaos, and so on. It will vary from one season to the next, from one story to the next, from one world to the next. Sometimes there'll be a plane completely ruled by one alliance, and this will be the theme behind PvP. Is, in the afterlife, all forces are effectively equal, and so they're going to have to take the fight to the respective sides. It'll be the basis for PvP, and it will vary from season to season, and the powers will vary, and asymmetry plays really heavily into this. And then finally, you have in the bottom corner there, this is a simplified view of the planes, the world, and the afterlife. Of course, in the middle, you have the crossed circle, which represents the world, the living, mortals, and on the sides you have the planes, and their rough, their congruence, their comparisons. So you have the starry spiritual, and you have the raw elemental. You have fairy, and you have shadow, light and dark. And there again, there's places where these individual planes touch, and where they are opposed, and where they interact, and where they recede. There will be interactions between all of them, and all of them will vie for influence over the living world, because unable to effectively manifest in the material world without drawing attention, the forces, each of these planes vies for influence and control over aspects of the mortal world. And because the alliances are dynamic and multifaceted, sometimes nature will be aligned with fairies and the plane of fairy, and sometimes they're going to align themselves with a particular god who takes an interest, and sometimes they're going to align with the forces of chaos because chaos has got their back, and it'll change. Sometimes you'll have angels fighting alongside demons, and it's going to blow your mind, but fallen angels become demons, and gods who fall from grace become archdevils and demon lords, and so it's fluid and dynamic, and these things will move around. It's gonna be like your vast cosmic melodrama where things play out on extraordinary time scales, and sometimes the ancient ones will awaken and everybody is just losing their minds, and you know, sometimes you'll have all 5 alliances banding together in order to, you know, push back total oblivion. And sometimes evil will throw in with oblivion when it suits their purposes, and sometimes evil will be like, oh my gosh, you guys, stuff just got real, we have to stop this, where even evil has standards. And it will be one big cosmic brawl. Now, all of this aside, we have one more thing to talk about, and that is death, and how death plays into all of this. So I've already talked about family and how it's reflected in your account. I've now talked about belief systems, how it ties into gods, religions, temples. Magic, of course, underlies all of that, but magic will be a system of mechanics within the game, where this is a core component, where alliances, alignment, beliefs, and gods are all, you know, one of the 4 slices of this pie. You have gods and beliefs, you have souls, you have the interaction of families, and the social component, and then there's death, and how death plays an important role in the fluidity and the movement of all of this. And I will cover death in the 4th and final segment of the core gameplay concepts. And I hope you will tune in for that, and hopefully Reese will be in a good mood to help me present and discuss that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.